What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Tonight we have a classic 6.4 bad belt tensioner. That thing's about to pop off. I'm going to show you guys how to access it, or how I access it, so you can get your 6.4 back on the road. All right, guys, let's do it. Alright everyone, thanks so much for coming back and checking us out. Big shout out to our vets, we appreciate you. I'm going to show you guys real quick, not in depth. I'm going to tell you the associated stuff that you're going to need to remove in order to get to those tensioners. Now I am going to be putting both on and both belts while I'm in there. It's just kind of silly not to, seeing as how the primary tensioner is about to pop off. So without further ado, I am not going to be draining any coolant. I'm going to be taking this CAC duct loose. I'm going to be taking it loose here. I'm going to be removing all three 13mm bolts on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and Christmas tree clip panel popper this out. I'm going to disconnect the horn, and I'm going to remove and dislodge all of these so that I can get just that much more play. And I am going to pull this whole thing forward like 1.5 inches. Now, when this thing was made, they install these plastic pins in this so that when they align it with this, they can just set it right on here and then come back by and bolt this on. We're no longer going to need that anymore. So what you're going to do is get a flat blade screwdriver, and you're just going to dink that down with a hammer, and you have 6 bolts holding those on, so that's not going to be needed anymore. So our next shot, we're going to have all this loose. I'm going to show you guys how much play we're going to have. All right, we are all loose. Those are removed. Those are dinked down. And look how much play we have in the core support. Now I have went and preemptively gone ahead and removed, for the sake of argument, the fasteners that you're going to be removing to get to this. Kind of a intimidating thing for some if you're not familiar with how this comes off, but there is a trim clip that holds this together. And this pops out of the fan shroud, and there is a trim clip here, and then you literally just get this line up out of your way. Just kind of tuck it there. Underneath right here, you're going to see a vacuum line. You're going to need to take that off of this regulator. This is for the 4x4, and you're going to be taking this with you. Also, there is a trim clip here and a trim clip right down there, and then disconnect that solenoid as well. And then when you come over to the driver's side, that other side of the vacuum line is going to go right here, and you're going to want to take that off as well. And once you're finished, your fan shroud should be very loose. So when you're taking this off, I'm going to need both hands. You're going to want to pull this and lift this up at the same time. You're going to want to kind of bend this. Let me see if I can have somebody video this. Like I was telling you guys, you're going to want to maneuver this core support. Now I'm going to stand here up on the bumper, and I'm going to peel the passenger side up. I'm going to use my body weight, and I'm pulling the core support away, and I'm just going to work the fan shroud around this CAC duct. Okay, now you guys see what I just did right here? Now, if this is really cold, this plastic can become brittle, and when you do this bend, you guys can see I'm coming out on an angle, this can crack right here. So it's either very critical that you do this, or you start taking other components off so that this does not wind up cracking. There's a lot of times that I see these come in, and this whole piece is cracked right here. This is now 2 pieces. So when you take this off, this should be in 1 piece. All right, here we are back with the fan shroud removed, and let's get some light on this so you guys can see just how messed up the tensioner is. It's going from the top. You guys can see how cocked it is. Still can't kind of see, can't focus down there. Regardless, you guys can see the tensioner there, and if you look on the alternator, you guys can see that part of the belt is actually missing because it has been cocked for so long. So you don't have to, but one of the things that I'm going to do is remove the fan off of the water pump. Now there are 2 things on the POR 6.4 that is left-hand thread. This and the high pressure fuel pump gear. So we are going to righty-loosey, lefty-tighty, and we're going to remove this fan, get it out of our way. This will be a little more accessible, and then we can get right down into the nitty-gritty and replace our culprit. Fan time. Fan loose. All right, now that she's loose, you're just gonna wanna spin this thing all the way off, righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. You guys can see it coming out further. Make sure when you're taking this off, you're not gonna be hitting the radiator once the fan falls, so be prepared to catch it. And they actually want you to separate the fan blade from the clutch down in here to remove it. So yeah, I don't think so, and that's not what we're going to be doing. The electrical connector has gone through here, and you have to just depress these 2 little fingers on this side. No big deal. So I'm going to hold the fan connector and the blade, or at least try to get this out of here. No electrical connector. Okay, see how we don't have enough room? So we're gonna have to pull back on the core support to remove the fan. You really gotta put your body weight into that core support to get just enough room to get this fan out. So please make sure that it doesn't hit your radiator, because you don't wanna have to put a radiator in this poor thing. But check it out. Look how much more room we got. You guys can actually see the tensioner now and how cocked it is. That spring's about to pop off. So let's get the tension taken off the tensioner and we'll get this belt removed. All right, welcome to the front end accessory drive of a POR 6.4. You're going to want to start by removing the tension from the main tensioner. I don't know if you can, but this is about to bust. So we're going to slip off the belt. There we go. We're going to be replacing the belt. Again, that was a 3/8 drive ratchet. No big deal. Get this belt all the way off. Get it off the alternator over here. Okay, belt is fully removed. Now let's get the tensioner. We're going to need a 15 mil 3/8 drive. So I'm going for this setup here. I'm going to try to be gentle. I don't want it to fall off and hit the radiator. But check it out. You guys can see how busted that is. Look at that. Completely wasted. Good thing we found it before he lost all of his belt tension. Alright, so the secondary belt tensioner can be kind of a pain. And I say that because the tensioner you have to pull up on and can be, I don't know, quite cumbersome. So what they give you on the new tensioners is a pin. This pin allows you to mount the tensioner, and then all you use is your 3/8 ratchet to take the tension off this and then pull the pin out, and then your tensioner is ready to go. So instead of me trying to fight the belt and get it around the crank and the AC for the secondary tensioner, I have saved, but I'm going to install the pin so that I can easily remove the tensioner and then get the belt off afterwards. So we're actually going to have to pull up on this one, the last one, the primary we pushed down on. Okay, we're going to be pulling up, and then right here where my finger is, you're going to see a couple of different holes. That is where you're going to want to put the pin. Let's see if we can do this. Really got to pull up on it. And to try to do this and wiggle the belt on at the same time, I'd advise you guys to do what I just instructed you to do. So again, another 15. Okay, and this tensioner is going to come falling right out, just like this. See how I got it locked in there? This is what I want you guys to do, so that you guys can essentially do the same thing that I just did. So now you have to remove the secondary belt, and it's right here. It's flopping around. Actually, let's see if I can just take it off the AC. Okay, I worked it off the AC, I got it off the crank, and now you need to get it from around that stator. See that right there? So what we're going to need to do is I'm going to take this 13 mil out. There should be a bolt in here. There's not. Somebody's already taken it out. I'm going to remove this belt by just pulling back on that stator just enough to slide that belt through, and voila, there's our belt. Now that we have the belts out, we're going to be putting the new ones in. This is the secondary belt. This is your primary belt. This one with the wider pulley. In the picture, it's always the wider pulley. That is the primary, and this one is the secondary. Now, it is self-explanatory how these go back on. You guys just saw me remove the secondary belt, so without further ado, let's put this belt in. Okay, new belt going in. Now it kind of irks me that somebody didn't put these fasteners back in, but nothing I'm going to be able to do. Okay, our belt is on. Let's get the new tensioner. Here's our new tensioner. You guys can see the pin. Okay. Now on the front cover, there are two dimples that these go into, so just be cognitive of putting those in the dimples so that your tensioner alignment is right. Okay, got that hammered down. We're tight. Let's go ahead and pull that pin out. Saw me put in. Okay, I'm gonna pull up. I'll pull this pin out. Pull the grenade pin, and then let the tensioner back down on the belt. I'm going to save my pin for next time. I'm going to go around the crank and go around the AC to ensure that the belt is fully in the middle. Tensioner feels good. All right, let's get the primary one installed. All right, we just got done filming the video for the alternator install, and even though I have the fan stator removed, I'm going to continue with the belt replacement and installation of that new tensioner. So let's get the GoPro on and get us filming. Okay, new main belt tensioner going on right here. You guys can see the pin that they leave you. Let's go ahead and tighten this down. Alright, here's our new belt. Now, luckily we're not going to be fighting that fan stator. So we're going to put the old belt on. At least this doesn't have as many pulleys as the 6.7. There's like nothing on the driver's side of the motor. But when we have the pin in the tensioner,
That's going to allow us to go ahead and completely put the belt on as we get it on all of our other pulleys. You guys can see we just slipped that right on, slipped it right on this idler. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take the tension off the tensioner. This time we're going down, and we're going to pull the pin out right here. Pin out, belt on. And look at that. It's totally set to go. Let's get this fan stator in. Get this black fan stator in. Go ahead and put my pin back, because we keep those for next time. And black stator. It's going to go in just like this. I'm gonna have to pull this core support back. Make sure you tuck this rubber flap under the fan shroud. This flap right here is supposed to be underneath. I'm going to go ahead and just put these two nuts back on and try to center the shroud as best I can. Okay. Alright, I'm going to try putting this one in. Okay. So once you get that on, you're going to be able to finally set the fan in. That's what I'm going to try to do. Just like that. Remember, you guys, lefty tighty, righty loosey. Fan started. Fan on. Okay, nice and tight. Here's our electrical connector. And that is pretty much it. Now we're going to be able to go ahead and install our fan shroud. Alright, I always start with the driver's side, like this. And I try to slide it down as far as I can without having to disturb anything. This cactus. See what I had just did right there? I got to kind of bend this a little bit, and it'll allow you to fully seat this all the way down, just like that. Just like that. Now, some of these fasteners were not in here. I don't know why or what the reason why they're missing, but that's how the vehicle came in. So we're gonna clip that back on. We have our 4x4 thing right here, vacuum line. Plug that in. Okay. And plug this in. Another vacuum line over here. Plug this in. Got our trim clip right here. Our power steering reservoir has like a V in the fan shroud, and the V in the power steering reservoir has to sit in that V. Got it. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. We got one. We have one electrical connector somewhere over here. Okay, here's our electrical connector. Kind of get this out the way. We have one right down here. We have one right here, and then we just clip on our stuff. Cack pipe just work that back on like that. Our lower one, or the intercooler connection right here. You guys just slide that on, no big deal. We'll get these 8 millis tightened. 8 milli. Put our 8 millis up here. And there should be a clip right here. I don't know why this truck's missing this. And that is pretty much it. This is how I normally replace all of the belt tensioners and alternators on the 6.4. Let me know if you guys have done this and what parts did you guys use. Did you guys do this at home? Did you guys bring this to the dealer? Let me know in the comment section, and I want to thank you guys always for watching. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!